Welcome to episode 21 of the Yinzhers podcast. I'm Samantha James, along with my co-hosts Morgan Urtso and Jordan DeFigio. How depressed are you guys feeling?
I mean,
morbidly, very, very, very depressed.
On a scale of 1 to Michael Scott when Holly goes back to Nashua, I might as well be in the truck with Daryl singing. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Brutal. Like, this is the worst Monday of my life.
Do you guys want to start with the good or the bad?
There wasn't very much good, so let's get that out of the way, and then we can kind of rest on the bad, because there's a lot more of that.
A lot more to cover on the bad.
Yeah.
I mean, far and away. Yeah, this will be a quick segment. The good, quick.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I mean, there was some good. Yeah. Najee, he looked good. Way too many receptions, but almost 100 yards. So that was good.
Listen, though, like the thing, the good is going to bleed into the bad, because let me just say, Najee has to be pissed. Like, how pissed would you be if 34 of your yards on the ground got called back for penalties?
Pissed.
Every single time he broke through the line and made a legitimate run out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It was called back. Oh God.
It was like he got used to, after breaking for some 10, 20-yard run, looking back to make sure there wasn't a flag on the ground, because the first 3 times he got decent yardage, good yardage, first down yardage, every single time it was called back.
Take it back.
For stupid penalties. Stupid penalties.
Stupid, idiotic, avoidable penalties.
Yep.
False start? Are you kidding me? False start? Get your shit together.
Yeah,
I know we're supposed to be talking about the good. So, like, I will maintain decorum right now. Let's move on.
But he looks good. So there's that.
Claypool had a great game. Once again.
Yeah, he did. He had a good game.
He did. There were a few drops.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, I keep bringing up the
drops are apparently what this team is known for at this point, because we led the league last year in drops, and we're starting out with that same trend. So,
yep, drops, terrible line, but we're still on the good. Claypool looks good.
We are. We are still on the good.
I know it's really hard to hang there. Terrell Edmonds looked good. He's really kind of coming into his own.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of him. That was a extremely heads up play to go after that deflected pass. I was hoping that would, throw some momentum our way, that we would be able to capitalize on that play. Surprise, surprise. Nope. We didn't.
Yeah, because the offense got the ball. Anytime there's momentum, if you give it to the offense.
Yeah, honestly, is Edmonds a bright point, or are we pissed he didn't take it to the house? Like,
that was the only way we would have gotten a touchdown. So
right. And like the thing is we look at guys like Terrell Edmonds, and you want to look at yesterday and be so proud of him. Honestly, this season so far, the first 3 games of this season, he has been impressive, which is amazing for a guy who, like Bud Dupree, was so slow to come into his developmental role. Yeah, exactly. And so finally we're seeing Terrell Edmonds be this guy that, we can count on in the secondary, and we can't even capitalize on these plays that he's making. Or, it is the most frustrating thing. And I know we're still talking about the good. I have to keep reminding myself.
It's
hard. It's really hard.
So outweighed the good that anything, honestly, really even associated with the good is bad in some way.
And his progress is it's so, like, everything that he's been able to accomplish in the past 2 seasons, honestly, has just been overshadowed by the shitty offense, because it's really difficult to celebrate the growth of a player when the glaringly obvious issues on offense are just completely erasing any type of positive impact the defense is having on the game. So that includes the progress that Terrell Edmunds has made, but he's made a lot of it. And that's really encouraging to watch, especially because the Steelers have historically not been the best at drafting in the secondary. So the fact that they were not only able to get him and sort of start to develop him, that is promising. And I'm just going to do a full stop there.
We didn't give him like a 5th year, right? And so
Yeah.
he is in a contract year technically. So he's playing for his money, and he's doing arguably an amazing job at that so far.
Yeah.
Granted, we are 3 games in, but for a defense that is decimated like we are, we need guys like Terrell Edmunds to really step up and be like a leader on that side of the ball. And I feel like he did that well on Sunday. He's been around the ball a lot, and it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see him not getting burned. It's really nice to see him not in busted coverage. You know, this is a guy who I've seen strides from, and it's one thing that we can be excited about. So that's great. And like you said, Claypool, Claypool draws PIs. I know we talk about this all the time, but draws PIs like no one's business. And there are times that refs don't want to call it because they know, oh, well, it's Chase Claypool. Like, we can't just call it because it's Chase Claypool, even though it's technically a PI. You know, he did that again yesterday. That was huge for us, huge for an offense that was stagnant, anemic, pathetic.
Yeah, pathetic's a good word.
It was hard to watch. It was hard to watch.
What else we got?
Yeah, any other positives?
This was good.
We had Pat Freiermuth had his first NFL touchdown.
That was awesome.
Oh my God, please only throw the ball to Pat Freiermuth. If I never see Eric Ebron on that field again, sorry.
Dude. I'm
getting ahead of ourselves again.
I know.
We are getting ahead of ourselves again. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
Why is he not on the field more? Like, why is he not getting the ball
more? Yeah.
I know Ben has advocated for that, but like, why is it still not a thing?
Yeah.
Like,
there are a lot of coaching decisions and personnel decisions that have really, really been consistently bad that are now becoming concerning. A couple years ago, they were one-offs and you could kind of sweep them under the rug and ignore them. But oh my goodness, as we've gotten, I don't even know what's going on. Anyway, let's wrap up the good so that we can just start our bitch session, because I really need that.
The offensive line
I need this
picked Ben up. They picked him up off the ground when he got hit. Yay!
Which is great.
Thank you, guys.
Good job,
one
guys.
Thing right.
The only other thing that was good was that we saw the no huddle happen, which did gain some momentum, and then it was.
Well, I'll be honest, like this past week, I think, or a week and a half ago, Ben told the media that there was no huddle offense, no 2-minute offense in the current playbook.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people picked up on that. It didn't seem like it was widespread news. To me, that's huge, because as people who watch the Steelers and analyze the Steelers play, we know that Ben is his best in the no huddle. And that's not new. Like, that's not news. Ben has been his best version of himself when he runs a no huddle offense for years. Yeah. So why on earth in this year that's supposed to be his last ride, and we're giving him a chance to win the Super Bowl for the 3rd time, and bullshit, do we not have a 2-minute no huddle offense in the effing playbook? I'm sorry, I almost said the real version of that word. And I think I would be justified, because
yes.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was just so bad.
We're bleeding into the bad again, but I mean,
it's okay.
But that's okay. We're getting to the bad.
I think that's literally the extent of the good. So this is the bad now, which there's a lot of it, and we can start there. I mean, it's so bad.
Yeah. So like, so the fact that there's no real option for the no huddle in the playbook right now, a lot of people are complaining about Matt Canada. I'm kind of one of them. And I think you see a lot of times a real disconnect between football at the collegiate level and football at the professional level. And some guys, their skill set just doesn't translate. That may be the case with Matt Canada. However, so looking at that, the way that the Steelers offense performed yesterday, their scheme, their strategy, their plan, their play calling, their performance, is this blame on Matt Canada, or is it on is it too early to blame the guy, our offensive coordinator, 3 games into the season?
Right.
I think there's a lot to blame. I think Ben is to blame.
There's a lot of blame to go around.
Matt Canada is to blame. The offensive line is to blame. Tomlin is to blame. I'm going to get crucified for that statement. I know. And I guys can't say anything. But watching it, I don't know how the hell we beat Buffalo. How? Yeah. Because
there's one answer to that.
But we had a defense.
We had a healthy defense. We had a healthy defense, period. That's the only answer to that. The thing is I caught a lot of heat this week on Twitter because I said, I think I'm out on Matt Canada.
Yep.
And that was even before this past game.
Right.
The thing is I still stand by that statement. I think that while I do think that we are seeing a limited Matt Canada playbook because of the limitations of Ben, because of the limitations of the line, I also think that at a certain point, the responsibility to make things happen falls on the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And he is not, someone needs to go into the room and be like, Ben, this is what we're going to do, whether you like it or not, if that's the real issue. Because a lot of people say that Ben's the issue, Ben won't work with him, whatever. If that's the issue, Tomlin, Matt Canada need to go into a room with Ben and say, listen, you are the leader of this team. You're not the only leader of this team. We are losing. It's pathetic. Something's got to change. So put your 3 heads together and come up with some magic, whatever you want to do with the offense.
Yeah.
I do blame Matt Canada. I put a lot of blame on Matt Canada, but I will say I am not solely I'm hesitant to put the blame solely on the back of anyone until this offensive line gets their shit together.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Ben was sacked 4 times on Sunday. He was hit 11 times.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No. 17 times. 11 drops. Sorry. I'm getting my bad numbers confused.
There's a lot of numbers.
17 times, you guys. A 39-year-old quarterback taking 17 hits.
It's right.
Is Bruce Arians the offensive coordinator again? Because Ben is getting slammed.
Killed.
He's not mobile. He needs a line that can give him time in the pocket, because outside of the pocket, he's not doing jack shit.
He's not. He
doesn't even have time to get out of the pocket. He barely makes it outside the pocket. And you know what? I don't know if Matt Canada has the chops to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL. He might, but I think there's some blame on him for not adapting the playbook to the personnel that he has. But honestly, I'm more pissed at Mike Tomlin and the organization for giving the job to Matt Canada, whose entire scheme is just not conducive for the quarterback that we have. If you really wanted to go all in on Ben's last season, you would have made some cat magic happen to solidify the line in front of him, and you would have hired a guy that would be able to work with him in order to maximize on his actual ability where he is at this stage in his career. And they didn't do that. I have no idea what they were thinking when they saw Matt Canada's his strength and said, yeah, let's promote this guy, and did nothing to the line. I don't get it. And it's really incredibly frustrating to me, because it feels like they just stopped trying, and it's super frustrating. And like Matt Canada, all right, it's your job to get creative now. You see what you're working with, like going out in there with the same exact attack
game plan
mode as Randy is not doing it.
There is no difference in scheme. There's no difference in scheme. It is monumentally frustrating to see us fire the coach that everyone wanted fired. See you, Randy Feitner, you're gone. And bring in someone, promote within the organization. Because why? Because you want to do the same
Steeler
shit.
Way. Yeah.
It's pathetic. The Steelers spend the least amount of money on their coaching staff out of the entire NFL. Out of the entire NFL. Adrian Clem has no business coaching that offensive line. He doesn't.
Nope.
If you wanted someone to come in and change the offensive line and make something happen, bring in a proven coach, not the assistant to the coach that failed last year. Period. I'm pissed. Like, I'm so annoyed, because like, there is no excuse. We saw exactly what this offense did last year. We saw that with a veteran offensive line. Why did you think you could bring in these kids and expect them to be better with an offensive line coach who is brand new as well? What I mean, in what world? With this quarterback, in what world?
Yep. And it wasn't just their inability to protect Ben, because they were falling apart left and right yesterday.
Right.
But we touched on this already with all of those big gain runs from Najee. The penalties. Oh my God.
Every single one of them had a penalty.
What the hell?
Like, I knew there was a lot, but going back today, and like I had tweeted this morning, rewatching the film, which, by the way, do not recommend doing that, because we already knew the game was worse, but watching it a second time and being able to take that in the game emotion out and watching it for a second time, you were like, oh my God, this is even worse than I thought it was. Yeah, and I didn't realize that there was a penalty for every single starting offensive lineman. Every single one of you.
False
what
start,
are you guys doing?
Illegal formation, holding.
Just
come on.
You name the penalty, it was called on them. That's pretty much how it was yesterday.
Yes. And the drop.
I mean, and listen, like, how much of that is growing pains? Realistically, how much of these penalties, I'm not talking about the failure to block, I'm not talking about getting absolutely railroaded at the center position and the guard position. Not what I'm talking about. The penalties, how much of that is growing pains, adjusting from an NCAA speed to an NFL speed?
Right.
It's probably a higher percentage than, like, I would
realize.
It's just
I want it to be that
different thing.
Wishful thinking, maybe. I don't know. I'm looking for answers, because I have none. I have no solution to the problems that this team is facing.
Mm-hmm.
It almost makes me wonder, because they didn't go out and shore up that offensive line with veterans. Mm-hmm. It almost makes me wonder if they know, like, we're going to appease Ben because he is our Hall of Fame franchise quarterback that has won us 2 Super Bowls, taken us to 3.
Yeah.
7-time Pro Bowler. Let's appease him for this last year. He took less money to help this team. Let's make this, whatever. We know what he is. Let's not say we're tanking.
Right.
Let's just field this team and get a good draft pick. Like, that's what it feels like. And I know that's not the Rooney way. I know that's not the Steeler way. But it feels like that.
The thing is, if you have Well, yeah, if you have this limited quarterback who refuses to throw up the middle, who when he's out of the pocket, as we saw when he did choose to be mobile yesterday, Derek Watt was wide open. Did he throw it to Derek Watt? No, he threw straight into coverage that was intercepted. Like, there's so many things that when you start relooking, it's like the people that are saying, oh, Ben's not at fault, and how dare you, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm not taking that away from him. What I am saying is he is not the same Hall of Fame quarterback Ben. And you guys can separate those two things. It's not being disrespectful. It's not saying, oh, he's washed, whatever. It's just the truth of the matter. He's not the same quarterback. He's 39 years old.
39, and he's not on the TB12 diet, okay? Like,
no, he's not.
He doesn't enjoy avocado ice cream at night. Like, here's the thing. You know who Ben is. We know who Ben is.
Right.
They should have invested every dime they had in that offensive line. Period. The thing is it makes you really, really question what the organization is doing, because this offensive line practices every damn day and every day of training camp against TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith and Melvin Ingram and Cameron Hayward and Minka Fitzpatrick. Like, these are the guys they go up against every single day in practice. So, like, what are they doing in practice that they're not doing in games that made Tomlin and the coaching staff and Colbert feel comfortable putting them on the field every Sunday?
And the defense has to get sick of carrying this team. There's no way that you can play your ass off and then go into the locker room at halftime and be happy with the production that you're seeing on the field.
Yeah.
No,
there's no way.
You know that there's tension in that locker room.
There has to be. I mean, I feel for them. I'm like, I sit there and watch it. I'm like, wow, okay. Even if the defense bails you guys out, for what then? For what?
For nothing. Just to give it right back to them, to punt. And I think, honestly, that's an interesting possible scenario or explanation for what's going on. Like, when you look at all the moves that Colbert made in the offseason, every single thing was addressing depth on defense. Signing TJ Watt, making sure the cap is set for next year when they're going to extend Minka inevitably. Like, everything that they did was defense focused. And the defense is great, and they have a lot of young players who are going to be on this team for hopefully a really long time. However, they're not going to win us games. They're not going to carry us to a championship. And it feels like maybe in a roundabout way, they are accepting the fact that we're not going anywhere, and they're not not admitting to tanking, but they're also not doing anything that is going to fix the issues that would allow them to make a deep run at the playoffs this year. They're just kind of like letting the natural selection of the NFL season run its course, so that maybe they can get who knows.
There's no way you look at Matt Canada and you say, let's put you with Ben Roethlisberger. This will be great.
It makes no sense.
Thing is, defense.
It's like oil and water. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Defense can't win championships if your offense can't score.
Right.
Yeah. Put that on a shirt instead. Yeah.
I will put that on a shirt tomorrow. It'll be in the Yinzhers merch store for you guys.
Perfect.
It will support our drinking habits for the rest of the season. So.
Oh my gosh, we need lots.
Y'all are gonna need to buy those shirts up, because I have some.
We're in for a long season. Yeah, my God. Yeah, and that
let's
yesterday
talk about
was
some more negatives.
Yeah, the drops. You know what? You guys want to talk about the drops?
Yep. What the hell?
11.
What the hell?
11.
Why?
I have a bright spot. Deontay Johnson doesn't have a drop this year.
You know?
Granted, he didn't play yesterday. But that's improvement that we can be happy about.
We also saw him.
He gets healthy.
He worked his ass off in the offseason. How many? he saw report after report that he was there before and after practice, literally on the jugs machine, working his ass off.
Every time he would drop anything, he'd drop and do push-ups. Here's the thing about Deontay. Yesterday, just like TJ did, from the sideline, TJ proved that was money well spent. Deontay yesterday, without doing jack shit, proved that he is our number one wide receiver.
Yep.
Period.
He is. He's the best one out there. Gotta go.
Seven targets, 1 catch.
I was a big
Leads.
Ebron proponent last year. Like, I made excuses for this man. I did.
Yep.
I like the way he approaches the game. I love his attitude. I love how much fun he has. He did not remedy his biggest issue. And to say that's frustrating is an understatement. Eric Ebron, as a tight end, does not do enough to drop as many passes as he drops.
Yeah.
He has more drops. He has more drops than receptions.
Exactly.
Like,
that's terrible.
It's inexcusable. There's no reason. You play on an NFL team.
Yeah.
And listen, like, I athletes get the yips, guys.
Right.
Like, we all know athletes get the yips, right? You play this sport at the highest level. Whatever you have to do it. Whatever you have to do. And I get it. Like, at the end of the game, everyone was dropping stuff. Najee was dropping stuff. Claypool was dropping stuff. We saw drops from everybody near the end of that game. And I get it. Like, they were defeated. And we'll talk a bit later about just how defeated they were and the message that sends. But it's inexcusable at this point. Like, learn, be like Deontay Johnson, be like DJ. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's like, okay, last year, what did Tomlin say? You can catch the ball or you'll be replaced.
Ride the bench.
I expect guys to make routine plays routinely. That is not happening. And he's not
even blocking.
Specifically in Ebron's case, because Chase, Najee, Juju, whoever, okay, at least they're making most of their plays. Ebron, it's far and away in that ratio.
Right.
And you're a veteran player. It's not.
Exactly.
You're not a rookie.
Exactly.
I have a really hard time excusing that. Yeah.
Yes. And while you're a good energy in that locker room, and I think you're a good presence on this team, like, if you're not contributing on the field, it's time, dude. Either, step up or step out. Like, it needs to be done. And
again, it comes down to coaching. Why are we putting players in that position to make these crucial catches that have no, in my opinion, being on that field? Bench
they
them.
haven't proven that they can.
And then to put them in a situation where it's like, you better catch it because we're whatever yardage we're at and screwed again, and you throw it to the air.
Not only catch it, but after the play, I expect you to get 7 yards, 8 yards, because all we're doing is throwing screens. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. 4th and 10, and you're going to throw a screen?
Yep.
The things that these coaches, the expectation after the catch from these coaches is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I've been a Mike Tomlin apologist for a very long time. I love Mike Tomlin. I think he's a great coach. The one weakness that I see in him, aside from maybe some game time management issues, he cannot assemble the coaching staff that these players, this personnel needs.
Yeah.
Period.
I would agree with that.
Like, we should have gone outside the organization for an offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Period.
Yep. Oh my God.
Line.
I said that. I said that after we hired him. I was like, why?
Right.
Why so many promotions from within? Outside hire, please.
We have so
many issues
working
on offense.
Right.
The offensive line coach. You promote I'm going to say it again, the assistant to a failed offensive line coach last year? In what
unacceptable
world? And according to Pony, take it with a grain of salt because it is coming from Pony. We are spending the least on our coaching staff. Like,
I saw that. I'm sure it's true because that's something that you could easily look up. So
yeah. So like, if that's true, that is pathetic. Right. Yes, a lot of these issues are personnel related, but some of these personnel issues can be overcome with great coaching. We have mediocre coaching at best, and I'm not talking about the head coach. I like Mike Tomlin. I think he needs to do what intelligent people do and surround themselves with capable individuals who can get the job done, who are good, who are the best at their craft, better than even he is.
It's like, are we going to sit through an entire season of this? Because we know we are. It's the Steelers, and they're not going to do anything about it. They're going to see all of this happening.
Decisions.
None. If anything happens, it will be after the season's over and after it's lost. And that's a whole nother thing I can't even think about going into the rest of the season right now. It's going to be a long season.
It will be a long season, especially with all these injuries.
Yeah, and all of the injuries, I mean, with the exception of DJ and Juju. Okay, so a couple. But the most prominent injuries are on defense, which is our crowning glory. We still have Stephon Tuitt out. TJ hopefully coming back soon, but Alex Highsmith.
We lost Tyson.
Struggling. Tyson. Yeah, it's
great. It has not been a kind season, and it's only
it's not been
week
fun.
3.
I mean, it feels like a few weeks ago we were feeling bad for the Ravens for losing every single one of their running backs and one of their best cornerbacks. And now it's like,
now look at us.
Juju's day to day. Chooks, I mean, does it really matter? Kendrick Green is hurt. Who knows how badly he's hurt? Claypool's banged up. Ben's banged up. All these groin injuries. TJ, Highsmith, like, is that a conditioning issue? Let's talk about that. Like, where are these groin injuries coming from?
No idea.
Groins, those are, I don't know. That one's hard to say because.
Right. I mean, I think it's probably a conditioning issue because to have as many groin injuries as we have, something's not happening in the conditioning room, and that is what it is. And, once again, that's a failure by the coaching staff, the training staff, whatever. But then we look at depth, right? Because on defense, if we are so decimated, we're looking at depth at that point. So we look at Melvin Ingram yesterday. The sole reason Tyler Boyd got that touchdown was because Melvin Ingram thought he was big enough to just hit him rather than wrap him up and tackle him. I have been
it's like he forgot he had arms.
Yeah.
Right. I've been a huge Melvin Ingram fan. He's been amazing for us. Yesterday, to see even him make rookie mistakes like that, it's unacceptable, and it just speaks to the mentality of this team.
And that's where I think it gets hard because, again, there's no way the defense can't be so frustrated by what they're seeing on that field. There's just no way. And I do think it translates into their play. Some of the, like you said, like a rookie mistake. Why are you making that rookie mistake as a veteran player? And part of me thinks it's because they're frustrated. And do they care? Yes, but do they care enough? No.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Maybe not. And then,
geez.
I mean, I can't imagine. Like, we're this frustrated as fans. I can't imagine actually putting my body on the line to make these plays. And especially for him with Watt and Highsmith out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine stepping off that field after making the play that Terrell Edmonds made, and then 3 minutes later, not even 3 minutes later, going back on the field for another defensive series.
They get no break.
It's awful.
It makes me want to punch someone in the face.
Literally, I would love to be a fly in that locker room. I would just love to hear some of the conversation that goes on in whatever way that it does, because.
Let's talk about the sack streak ending.
Oh, another painful moment. Oh, yesterday just sucked ass. It was, 75
It was
games.
ass trash.
It was ass trash. Yep.
Can we put the Steelers are ass trash on a t-shirt? Because
they are.
I didn't think that would be in our own merch store, but at this point, they deserve it.
They do.
They deserve
I mean,
it. Absolutely.
And they know it. The fans were booing them worse than I've ever seen the fans boo the Steelers at home in my life.
And they deserved it.
They deserved every bit of it. Every single bit of it. That sack streak ending was brutal. Here's an interesting thing I want to talk about. Melvin Ingram, the roughing the passer call. How do we feel about this?
That was awful.
Where was the roughing the passer?
Yeah.
He literally cradled him in his arms like a newborn
No
kitten.
helmet to helmet. I wasn't below the waist. I don't know.
He literally let him down. Like if you watched it, he fell into his arms and he let him down.
And gets hit like that all the time, if not actually worse than that, as we know, because Ben's such a big guy. And never anything called.
It's like he was putting baby Jesus in the manger. Like I was like, you could not have been more careful.
Right. Right. That was, again, back to where you're like every week NFL officiating manages to
it just gets worse.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's pathetic. I mean, you have to laugh about it. Like at this point, I'm sitting here deliriously laughing about how terrible this team is on all fronts.
It was horrible.
Yep. And that led directly to that Jamar Chase touchdown. So it was like, it wasn't even like they brushed it off and kept going. It was, no, this is going to be a real momentum killer. And it was.
I want to correct something I said earlier. Ben was hit 17 times in the last 2 weeks. Yesterday, he was hit 11 times.
Still not great.
No, that's
a lot.
That's awful. But yesterday it was only 11. So our 39-year-old quarterback only got hit 11 times. Like,
thank God.
All right.
So bad.
I think we covered the bad. Right? I'm sure we missed stuff.
Yeah, but there's a lot of bad.
We could just keep going. There was so much bad. We could probably do 3 episodes on the bad.
Yeah.
First time losing the Bengals at home in how long?
I think they said since 2003. That sound right?
We lost to them at home in 2005 in the Super Bowl season. Because I was at that
First time losing to them by double digits since when?
Never, probably. But my guess is
I feel like it was 95.
When we were the Steagles.
I think it was 95.
Dang. That's regardless.
So bad. Regardless.
It was not good. So I guess like what is best case scenario for this season then?
Listen.
What are we hoping for?
I'm not writing it off yet.
And I never write them off.
I know. Like exactly. Like I think that the issues on the offensive line are irreversible? No. Do I think that we can't remedy a lot of the problems that we're seeing, like the penalties and the inability to pass block? No. I think that when Banner comes back, that will be a huge piece to that puzzle. I think that we will see growth as they work together. The issue that worries me the most is at this point, because they are so bad. And I'm not just talking about the offensive line. I'm talking about the entire team. The chemistry that they have to make for, like that's the scariest part, because we all know that when there's no team chemistry, when there's a bad situation in the locker room, and we saw it very recently with AB, like it's hard to overcome that. It is extremely hard to overcome that. You look at teams like the Browns and the Bengals, who were terrible for so long, and a large portion of that is their culture. And if you have this culture of failure in that locker room right now, how do we overcome that? That's the biggest issue to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're in your
because that's going to sink them. Yeah.
And to see Mike Tomlin lay the blame solely at the feet of the players, while I don't completely disagree with that, how much is how much of the team is he losing by doing that?
Right.
Because they're looking at him and the coaching staff that he assembled and the team that he assembled, and they're saying, bro, like, what did you give us to work with? What do you expect?
Yeah.
So it's frustrating to say the least. I mean, Tyler Boyd today coming out and saying the Steelers gave up. They portrayed to the entire nation what they're about. Sure, that will be bulletin board material if you want to call it that, but like, that's embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves. They
especially to have somebody from Cincinnati say that. It just
someone that you've dominated for years is saying that. What?
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Looking forward to this week. We have Green Bay.
I don't want to look forward to this week. Oh, can we skip it?
There's so many things where you're like, what are you looking for? What do you want to see happen? And it's like, I don't know where to start because there's so much that's wrong that I don't even know.
Less offensive line penalties, number one. That's my biggest thing that I want to see. I want to see TJ come back from being out. I want to see Highsmith back. I want to see a lot of these injuries lighten up a little bit. I want to see the drops.
They gotta stop. They have
minimize.
to stop.
While I contribute a lot of that to the fact that of what Tyler Boyd said, they did give up, and a lot of those drops happened towards the end of the game. I contribute a lot of that to the fact that they just gave up. Don't fucking give up.
Great. Right.
Play until the end.
The F-bomb.
There it is.
That's okay because we were all yelling it on Sunday. We were all yelling it on Sunday.
Play until the last snap. Guys.
Exactly. And it's as evidenced by the game last night between the Packers and the 49ers, you literally can't give Aaron Rodgers 37 seconds to work with.
Right.
They need to find a way to control this clock and be smart about it. Not just score quick. If you score quickly against the Packers, all bets are off. You need to hold on to the ball and be diligent, keeping your eye on the clock, keeping your eye ahead of you. I think they really need to find a way to kick the running game into gear in some capacity, because they are not going to control the clock against Aaron Rodgers if they keep doing these dumpy little screen passes on 4th and frickin' 10. It's not going to happen. So they need to get their shit together and find a way to keep their hands on that precious football so that they don't give it back to Aaron Rodgers.
You're exactly right.
I don't see that happening, but that's a big part of how they could potentially win this game if they're going to win it.
I mean, is it just me, or on Sunday did it feel came out onto the field we're already deflated? Like,
I felt that.
I feel such a lack. I wasn't even there, and I felt such a lack of energy from this team. Listen, I don't think the players are behind Matt Canada, number one. I don't think the players believe in a lot of the personnel that's taking the field right now. And by personnel, I mean the offensive line. Obviously these veteran guys especially see these weaknesses in the play calling. They see the fact that these coaches don't believe that they can get the job done. Listen, I will say Ben can throw downfield. He can, but they're just not doing it. Like, we saw it a few times yesterday. We saw an intermediate pass to Washington. Like, he can do it, and he's doing it fine, but he doesn't have the time, and Canada doesn't have the wherewithal to make these calls, period. So it's like there's a lack of trust from the coaches and from each other, the teammates. That's crippling.
Yeah.
And it's a much bigger issue than, we can't just blame the offensive line because they're mostly rookies. Like, it goes a lot deeper than that, because that feeds into more issues.
It does.
And like Sam said, and like Jordan said, it's the locker room stuff that's going to be the intangibles. It's the hardest.
I would love to interview some players off the record and take them as anonymous sources and hear what they think. Honestly. Because there's no way, if we're feeling it on this side, that they don't feel some type of way. It doesn't.
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I would put money on it. I mean,
I would. Yeah.
They're not out of touch. Most of them were there when Feitner was the offensive coordinator, and they see zero difference in the play calling. What? Yeah. You're throw in a few jet sweeps and you think oh my God, praise Jesus. Like, that's not a thing. Like, it's even worse than last year. The play calling is even worse.
Oh my God, yeah.
I can't.
It's polishing a turd. They think that they could just throw in some motions and like fool people into thinking that it's this prolific elite level offense now. Oh my God, Juju moved across the back. Who is this team? Exactly the same fucking team as last year. And we're not fooling anybody except ourselves.
Right.
No,
I mean, it's almost like we're exactly right. They are purposely not saying they're tanking, but just like, fuck it. We have what we have and it's not enough. So we're going to pretend like we, believe in this team. And realistically, like,
we're all in. There's no way you're all in. Like, exactly like what you were saying earlier, Morgan. This offensive line is going up against these phenomenal defensive players every week, and you guys thought this was enough? How?
Right. Like,
especially with a veteran quarterback who can't move.
Right. Like, it's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. From everything from the top down, Clark said it today, it's a total organizational failure. I don't disagree with him. I do not disagree with him. It's a culture problem, number one, which is freaking crazy to use the phrase culture problem and Pittsburgh Steelers in the same sentence. But that's what it is. That's what's happening. Coaching, players, the chemistry, the organization, the way that they do business from the top down. It's not working anymore.
It's not. And where
you can't do the same shit over and over and expect all of a sudden things are going to come together.
And
we all know the definition of insanity. We all know it. I don't have to tell you.
Right.
Like Mike Hilton yesterday, think he did something. That was embarrassing. Like, I'm not embarrassed to be a Steelers fan. I'll always be proud of them, but that was embarrassing. Mike Hilton did jack shit on that field, except commit a neutral zone infraction. Congrats, Mike. Also, I will add, the bullshit waving, like, most people were happy.
That was so dumb.
Bro. Like, be better than that. That's pathetic.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
He was out of touch.
When he left, like, everyone was so happy to, like, go get your money. We get it.
Go get your money. You became who you were in Pittsburgh. You became who you are in Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh gave you a chance. Now you're going to be a dick? Like,
now it's coming out that he didn't feel respected here in his time in Pittsburgh.
Who are you, Steven Nelson? Shut up.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. Which, again, you haven't heard anything on Steven Nelson because why?
Nope. Because he's not playing.
Right.
Oops.
It's like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
But I would be thrilled to have them back. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Steven Nelson did sign with a team.
He's with the Eagles.
Okay, he did. He's just not doing anything productive.
I haven't heard anything.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, what we knew would happen.
Right.
But I think that's it for the bat.
I think we need to wrap it up before we really
because
before I have an aneurysm, like I can feel my heartbeat.
Oh, I need to me and Lilo are going on a long walk after this because I need to go on a walk.
Decompress.
Yeah,
that's right.
Got me all
just gonna go to bed.
Yeah. I need to get a massage. I need to have a spa day to recover from the absolute beat down my brain has taken over the past day trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this team. I mean, thoughts and prayers, Steeler Nation.
Thoughts and prayers for all of us. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
May God guide us on our quest.
We do have to thank you guys though for coming out to our tailgate.
That was awesome.
Yes,
that was fun. Highlight.
So many of them showed up to that.
It was so awesome to meet so many of you in person and just like shoot the shit. And yes, we lost to the Raiders in terrible fashion, but the highlight of that day for all of us was meeting so many of you. That's why we love what we do. It's just so fun to engage with people who care about the same stuff we care about and have the same passions that we have. So thank you guys so much for coming out. We're going to do another tailgate with Stiller Gang coming up here pretty soon. And those details will be with you shortly. So we will be sure to share them when we have them.
Love it.
All right, we'll wrap it up. Well, as always, Steeler Nation, it's been real. We'll see you guys next week.
Real shitty.
Seriously though.
Oh, sorry. Okay, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Yinzhers and on Instagram at Yinzhers Official.
And don't forget to subscribe so that we can kick it with you every week. We will see you next Tuesday for another episode, hopefully a more uplifting one of Yinzhers.